Hey everybody, how you doing? So excited to spend this time with you, and I want to get right to the point to show you what it is that I do. Everything that I do is predicated around three specialized niches that we focus on. Number one is taxes. A lot of people do not understand taxes in terms of where to put their money at. How can I put my money in a tax-free shelter? How can I defer taxes on my money? How can I put my money in a position where I'll have more deductions? So those are things that I want to focus on with you today and teaching you a little bit about taxes. Number two is principal protection. What is principal protection? Principal protection is just a term for never losing any of your money, never losing your principal. It is possible now that you can put your money in accounts that if the market goes up, you can make money, but if the market crashes, you don't lose any money. And wow, that sounds so good, right? How come everybody's not doing that? Because they don't know about it. And that's a big part of what I want to teach you guys today. Number three is lifetime income. Pensions are gone, virtually non-existent. Very few organizations offer pensions compared to what it was 20, 30 years ago. That's all been replaced by 401ks. And so we're bringing the pension back. And a pension is basically when you retire, you're going to get a guaranteed income stream for the rest of your life, pretty much a monthly payment that you'll never outlive. And how attractive would that be to ensure that, hey, I'm going to have a paycheck for the rest of my life? And so we want to be able to bring that to the table because we know how valuable that is. So before I get into that, I just want to explain a little bit more about who I am, my company, Difference Financial, what it is that we offer, and why it's important. So I wanted you guys to be able to see me as well, so I kind of put the PowerPoint. I didn't want to put it in screen mode. My company's name is Difference Financial. I started this company the day after Thanksgiving. I launched it in November 26, 2011. I was in the Marine Corps at the time. I have 15 years Marine Corps background. And I realized that the market had crashed and really hurt people back in the 2008 market crash, and that there's so many people getting ready for retirement. And I felt based on the strategies that we knew people really were seeking, this was the time to really get after it, get in there and provide a valuable service that was going to help people retire successfully. And so there's a lot of baby boomers right now. A baby boomer is an American that was born between the years of 1946 and 1964. And all of them are in retirement. There's over 10,000 baby boomers turning 65 every day in this country. And for many of them, they're not aware of how to maximize their retirement accounts. They're afraid, actually. They're afraid that the market's going to crash again like 2008. They're concerned with taxes. What happens if I pull this money out? Am I going to pay a lot in taxes? If so, how much? If I die, who gets this money? How long is this money going to last me? There's a lot of questions that people don't have the answers for, and I get it. The internet there's so much information out there, and the terminology can be very confusing. So we created our company to create an information center where people can safely come get education. We have here in San Diego, and if we have weekly Money 101 courses where we just really teach the fundamentals of money. And here's where we're at. Right now is people are very, very afraid because there's so much radical change that is happening in economics. The way to make money, the way we communicate. I mean, look at the way I'm communicating with you now. I never thought that I'd be doing this, 5 or 10 years ago. But it's just the way the landscape is shifting right now. And so people are afraid because it's really right now out with the old and in with the new. So people need to prepare for that financially, and we want to be a resource. So that is the purpose of Difference Financial, is providing that. So let me show you a few other ideas here as I go through this. So our two passions is helping families. We believe what's going on in your house is a lot more important than what's going on in the White House. We believe in the family nucleus, that if the family unit is strong, kids are going to have a better upbringing, married couples are going to stay together, and everything a lot of it stems from that financial competence and making sure there's a strong structure and financial plan in place. And we know 80% of what keeps most people up at night many times is financially related. It's a big problem in our society right now, especially with the cost of living always rising. So we want to be a resource for that. And we're also big on providing opportunity. I'm not going to talk a lot about that today because I want to focus on our client services, but I'm also part of expansion since we're opening up offices in different states. And, we're looking for people who are entrepreneur minded, who want to learn this as a career, because obviously there's only one of me and there's 10,000 plus baby boomers turning 65 every day and they need help. So we have a really great training program in teaching people how to build a business in financial services so you can go out there and provide income solutions, retirement solutions, insurance solutions to people who really need it right now. So that's another cup of coffee. Our mission through financial education and provide the best opportunities for people to live financially free. The current situation for so many families is people have poor savings habits and they got a lot of debt. The average household right now here in Southern California is about $15,000 to $20,000 in credit card debt. If you add student loan debt, which is another epidemic, we've definitely seen $50,000 to $100,000 in combined debt total. It's a big issue right now in our society. Debt is really hurting people. It's a big problem why people can't buy a house, why they can't get their credit score up, and people are filing for bankruptcy. It's just become a big issue. And we want to help solve that. Okay, that's a big part of what you'll learn here today. You see here is the baby boomers, right? A lot of them don't have a retirement plan. With so many people in their mid to late 50s who frankly realize I'm going to have to work till the day I die. And it's sad, but it's become a truth. The average American right now in their 50s has anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 in their retirement accounts. And when you look at how far does $50,000 to $100,000 of income get you these days, it doesn't get you too far. And there's a lot of uncertainty with Social Security, or people are scared of losing their money if the market crashes, or they're scared of outliving their money because we're living longer. So we have a solution for that as well, which I'll share with you. And many families are just unprepared for unexpected changes. It's the average household has maybe $1,000 or less in savings, and so many things wipe a family out, like an unexpected job loss, someone gets laid off. An unexpected illness, an unexpected death, medical things, life happens, right? But when we don't have the finances in play, it could cause a huge detriment to our quality of life and those that depend on us. So we want to make sure that, again, helping families, making sure that your family unit is secure. And we know that just causes a lot of strain on relationships. One of the number one leading causes of divorce is finances, right? Money, right? Some people, I remember being in that position where I just hated talking about money because I felt so ignorant about it. I felt like it always controlled me. I couldn't control it. And this is why this education is paramount, because you're not going to learn this in college, even though you're paying a lot of money to be there. Where do people go learn this? Unfortunately, most people learn money when they're going through a divorce or they're filing for bankruptcy. And that is not a time to be learning money. But unfortunately, this is where people say, you know what, I'm not going to go through this again. I'm not going to be unprepared. So this is preventative maintenance for you to come and get the class, get the macro view, get the general information that you need to know so you can get yourself from point A to B in your life. Okay, so that's what we're here for. Here's the current situation. I love this slide. It's one of my favorite ones. I could spend an hour on this, but I'm going to just really get to the meat and potatoes for sake of time here. We're segregated in this country, right? You have the 98% and 98% of people, and by segregation I mean financially. And 98% of people in this country make under $250,000 a year. It used to be $100,000, but $100,000 is nothing nowadays. If you're making $100,000 here in San Diego, California, where I'm from, that is very middle class, right? You can't even really buy a house with that, with the average house being over $500,000 here. So the cost of living has gotten higher. So everybody falls under, mostly everybody, 98% falls under $250,000 a year. Now, for that 98%, where do most put their money at? And you see here in the banking system. There's a reason why you go to every corner, and you see a Wells Fargo, a Bank of America, a Chase, whatever local community bank, because they want your money. They get a direct deposit. You go to any downtown look at those beautiful, magnificent buildings, those skyscraper buildings, and look at the signs at the top of those buildings. You'll typically see a bank name tattooed to the top of those buildings. It's a sign of power. Banks are very powerful. And what they do is they get that money from you, right? And what do they do with that money? They reinvest it. But they pay you a low interest rate for you to have your money in that holding facility, right? So here's an example. You got savings accounts, checkings, money markets, CDs. CD stands for certificate of deposit, which is just another savings instrument that banks offer. And let's say you're earning 0.2% interest, which is pretty much nothing, but that's what they pay. And the question for you is, the cost of living, is it going up or down? And yes, it's going up. It's going close to 4%. So it's very simple math. If they're paying me 0.2% on my money and the cost of living is 4, we call that inflation. Then inflation is eating my money that's just sitting there. So that means my money is losing 3.8%, right? I'm on a negative 3.8%. I'm at a deficit. And people have challenged me on that. They're like, well, how am I losing money, Carlo? Because I have money in savings. I've never lost it. I'm like, I get it. You're not losing it like a stock market crash. You're losing buying power. Well, what does that mean? That means when you trade time for money, and that money that you traded time for, you put it in a savings account, and you leave it there for a year, and it grows at 0.2%, but everything else around you is growing at close to 4%. Now, a year later, for example, you take that money out because you need to buy some groceries. And when you go to the grocery store, the hidden expense is that milk, bread, and eggs went up in price. And now your dollar doesn't stretch as far as it used to a year ago. And so now the cost of living is working against you because it's eating your money. It's eating your buying power. And so your dollar stretches less and less. It's buying us, less and less necessities. Gas goes up, rents go up, groceries go up. Our commodities, the things that we need on a daily basis, are going up in price, but our money that we trade time for is not keeping up with that rising cost, and it's beginning to hurt us. And this is why we have a huge deficiency in quality of life here in America. Now, flip the coin to the top 2%. The top 2% make over $250,000 or more. And you start to see why there's always been segregation in this industry. Because the question always comes down to is, why don't we teach this stuff in school? I mean, of all the things I learned in school, by far the most important subject should have been money and the mastery of that, how to invest it, where to store it, how to make it grow, right? What is passive income? Those things they don't teach in school. And how detrimental is that to our overall well-being and quality of life, just being a human being living in capitalism? It is every second of every minute of every day, 24/7, 365, but yet we're very ignorant to it. Now, there's a lot of theories behind that. People say that there must be some conspiracy. The game is rigged. It is. Truthfully, I'm not being a conspiracy theorist here, right? I'm telling you it is, right? It's the banks, it's the power. College is a business. Banking is a business, because the way banks make money is they pay you very low interest rates on your money, and they just loan it back to you at a higher rate. Car loan, personal loan, home loan. It's just a game, guys, But the beauty of capitalism is that you can also learn how to play that game. You don't have to be a victim of it. This is the purpose of why I created this website, why I wanted people to have access to this information, because that's what the top 2% have access to, because they have the money. So those companies, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Charles Schwab, Edward Jones, Goldman Sachs. I mean, there's about 3,000 broker dealers out there, and they are very, very picky in terms of who they work with. And if you ain't making $250,000 or more, they ain't calling your house. They ain't coming to sit with you. They're a wealth management company, so therefore they focus on wealth. And so that's why people with money, they get catered to understanding how to devise a portfolio of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, investing in real estate, unit investment trusts. They know how to make money work for them. And so as a result, the example is, let's say they earn 12% in a year. The cost of living, does it affect the top 2% just like the 98%? The answer is yes. But if I'm earning 12% on my money that year, and the cost of living is 4, as my example says here, even after inflation, I'm still earning 8% or 8 cents per dollar. So for every dollar I have working for me, it generates another 8 cents per dollar. So that's money working for me. Even after inflation, now over here, after inflation, I'm losing 4 cents of buying power per dollar. So we see here through this very simple example that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. It's just, where's the end of this, right? And the only way that's going to get us free is financial literacy. We have to have an awakening to this, and we have to take the power back. And know this, there's so many people that are retiring right now, guys, that they really believe that the government is going to take care of them. They really believe that. And look at it, I mean, this is right now January 2019 when you're seeing this. The government can barely take care of themselves. So we got a lot of issues in government. Okay, so if you're banking on them to be there for you, think again. You got to know how to take care of you. You got to take that power back. And you have to get this information. It is detrimental that you have the information so that you can make moves that are in the best interest of you. And if you have a family, your family, right? So that's what this is about. So in other words, I can go on, but my point here is we help everybody. That's what Difference Financial is about. We help many people on the 2%. We help a ton of people on the 98%. Okay, we're not discriminatory here. We want to meet you where you're at, but our heart, our purpose, our passion is to help people that have been overlooked by this industry, mainly middle-class America, and help them go from the left side to the right side, but by focusing on education. We are an education-based marketing company. We focus so much on teaching you the fundamentals of money. Okay, long before we even ask you for business, we want to empower you so you feel secure with the knowledge. You know, people are tired of being sold. You know, we're in business. We want to earn your business. Let me be transparent about that, but not at the expense, right, of having a trustworthy relationship. We want to build trust with you. We want you to feel secure. We want you to feel empowered. And we're going to give you the information. Now, we may or may not be able to help you, but our first appointment is always going to be about providing you value. First and foremost, that's really our mission here. So hope that makes sense. Our solution to all this is we want to bridge the gap through education. Okay, so you notice the trends here. We're very much an education-based company. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but we do weekly Money 101 courses here at our San Diego office. And people come from all walks of life, about to retire, just had a baby, I'm in 29, I'm 30, I'm 18, I just got out of college, I'm 80 years old, I've already been retired. We help everybody. There's something that we can do, but our solution, first and foremost, is let's give you the education. Okay, so what is it that we do? We provide what we call a financial roadmap. We believe everybody should have a financial plan. And we've kind of broke it down in its simplified manner to 6 steps to financial freedom. And I'm going to walk you through this because if you're looking at this, I want you to really ask yourself, do I have this in place? And most people don't plan to fail consciously. We just fail to plan. You know, if you're going to drive to New York from California, you wouldn't just hop in the car and start heading east. You would have a plan. It's going to take you a few days. Where are you going to stay at? How much money do you have? What are you going to eat? How much resources are you going to have when you get there? And make sure you don't spend it all because you need enough resources to get you back. Most people plan a 2-week vacation more than they do for their retirement for their life. You know, and it's the truth. So having a plan in place is very important. And so I want to walk you through that here. I know some of you are starting to read along here. Is number one is we need to design a plan. So we need to establish your goals and your dreams, whatever that is to you, and we need to create a timeline for you to achieve them, something that's realistic. Maybe your goal is to buy a house, right? Maybe your goal is to travel. Maybe your goal is to put your kids through college, right? Maybe your goal is retirement. You know, maybe your goal is all the above. Maybe you want to take care of your aging parents who are not okay, right? You have specific goals that are very near and dear to your heart, but all of those goals have a money plan that is attached to them in order for that goal to be realized. Sit with somebody that knows how to do that. And that's exactly what we specialize in here. That is our value point for you. Do you have a financial plan? And if not, this is something that you really want to absorb here. It's the most important part of this video, guys. Number two is establishing proper protection. So as you're building, making sure you're protecting your bases for the unexpected. Let's face it, life happens. Are you protected? And that's where the life insurance component comes in. A lot of people don't understand life insurance. The biggest benefit of life insurance, right, obviously is that if the worst were to happen, whoever you leave it to is going to be made whole. You only get life insurance for two reasons. You owe someone or you love someone. And if that's important to you, if you have people that are depending on you, your income for their quality of life, you've got to protect yourself. Okay? And another benefit of life insurance is tax-free. So if you have $500,000 policy or $1 million policy, $2 million policy, and if you pass away, that money, 500, a million, 2 million, that goes to your beneficiaries 100% tax-free. You can leave it to your spouse, your children. You don't have a family, you can leave it to charity and it's going to go 100% tax-free. It is one of the best tax strategies known to mankind. You know, you can do research. You know, Disneyland was built in Anaheim here by Walt Disney because of a life insurance policy, right? So life insurance is a powerful vehicle if you know how to use it, okay? But it's also evolved. So you see the second bullet point there, protection with living benefits. So people say, yeah, Carlo, I already have life insurance through work. Well, if you leave your job, you no longer have life insurance, okay, because there was a group plan. Now, if you became a diabetic and you try to get qualified somewhere else, you probably won't get qualified. So it's best to have something outside of work. And you can do that very inexpensive through a term policy. Okay, you can be even more elaborate with something very unique that has bells and whistles that's going to last you for the rest of your life, and it can earn interest in the market. I mean, you can get really high speed with these things. But the biggest benefit I want to share with you is, does your policy have living benefits? What is that? It's a policy that you don't have to die to use it. So most people have what I call death insurance. And death insurance meaning I have a policy, but in order for my family to benefit from this policy, I physically have to die and produce a death certificate. Well, what if I don't die? And what I mean by that is, what if you contracted a terminal illness and you got 2 years left to live? What if you came down with cancer, or you had a heart attack or stroke, or you got a critical injury like a very terrible car accident, and you're not in any position to go back to work because you're dealing with an illness and you're focused on treatment, or you're bedridden right now? Your bank is not going to give you a 6-month extension on your mortgage because you got sick. The bills still have to be paid. We still got to put food on the table. So now with these policies, with living benefits, you don't have to die to use them, which means you can pull out, you know, a monthly amount of income based on how yours is set up and is customized to you, tax-free for 50 months while you're still living. You know, an example one, and just off the top of my head, I did a term policy for a 35-year-old woman. She was in great health for just shy of $30 a month. And she's covered for $500,000 for 10 years, which we can convert that to a permanent policy without insurability. And if, say, she ever had one of those ailments, right, cancer, heart attack, stroke, she can take out between $3,000-$4,000 a month, tax-free, for 50 months. And that's pretty feasible for $30 a month. Okay, that's a great benefit. So maybe you need to review what you currently have, or maybe you need to start something. And again, we can meet you at whatever budget. Okay, we're not here to tell you you need to spend money to get to this level of standard of product. We can customize our services to your budget, right? So you get what you need, and it's money well invested to make sure that your bases are covered, okay? Number 3 is increased cash flow. Do you have a budget? Do you know what's coming into the cent and what's coming out to the cent? Most people don't. We want to help you manage that, okay? So that way you are not overspending in areas that you shouldn't be overspending. And if you have debt, credit card debt, student loan debt, we have great resources. We have debt settlement strategies, okay, where we can help you get out of debt way faster. We give you a debt freedom date. How would it feel to sit down with us, and once we're able to go through this process with you, whether it's the first visit sometimes or sometimes 2 or 3, but we can tell you to the exact month and year that you're going to be out of debt. So we provide you a debt freedom date because we know that stresses you out. I know I was stressed out when I had a lot of debt in my late 20s. And this process really helped me out, having a plan, having a target date Okay, so we want to help you with that so you can become debt free. We have college loan forgiveness programs for people that qualify, right? So you can get out of a debt in a fraction of the time that you probably thought. So that's a huge value for you, that we can offer. Creating a reserve fund. We believe that everyone should have at least 3 to 6 months of their income. So an example is if you make $3,000 a month, you should set a goal to have at least $9,000 in a liquid type of account that you can access in the event of an emergency that's earning slightly higher interest than a savings account, so that you can access money just for whatever purposes, right? I don't like calling it an emergency fund because that's what you're creating, an emergency, but I think you should have a reserve fund because you need to have liquid cash. In the event you lose a job, you need 4 new tires for your car, and each tire costs $250. I mean, that's $1,000. And what do most people use for those expenditures? Credit cards. And now you're paying it back with interest. You're just caught up in this vicious cycle, right? It's better when you can just write a check or pull it out of savings cash and boom, be done with it. But you're always replenishing. So you set a goal to have 3 to 6 months of cash. Number 5 is retirement, asset growth, and preservation. This is where we specialize the most, is in retirement planning. And you see those 3 bullet points there. There's 4, but the 3 is where we focus on what I started in the beginning, is increase long-term wealth, but we want to minimize taxation. So if we can put your money in a position where it can grow tax-free, and more importantly, be in a position to come out 100% tax-free, and that means you're saving more money for you and paying less to the government, how would that feel? These are legal, okay? There are tax strategies that you can do to save money on taxes. And I'm all about paying our fair share of taxes because there's only 2 things certain in life, death and taxes. But nowhere does it say in our Constitution that you're a better American because you pay more taxes than your neighbor. So we want to help you save there. Okay, and a lot of people don't know about those tax strategies, right? I'll get into a little bit here in a few minutes. Protection of gains. So if you can put your money in a position where if the market grows, so right now we have an account, for example, in this account, it's an index account. If the market grows, you can earn up to 11%. But if the market should crash, you never lose your money and you never lose your gains up to that point. I know, people say that sounds too good to be true. Why isn't everybody doing it? Because people don't know. And so that's what it's about. That's what we offer here. And if we do it right, you see that 3rd bullet point, it becomes a guaranteed lifetime income stream that you never outlive, right? So we can roll over 401ks, right? IRAs. We can start with monthly contributions from discretionary income. Our average client saves anywhere between $200 to $1,000 a month. We'll meet you where, okay, that's the whole point of what we do. We want to help you. We're not trying to put you in a position where, you can't save. We want you to save something. Start somewhere. Challenge yourself so that you can hit your goals long term. We're going to help you do that and put your money in a great position where you'll never lose it. And it's going to turn into a pension for you later on in life. It's going to be fantastic. And of course, college. We have some very unique college funding strategies. The landscape of college has dramatically shifted over the last 2 decades. College is very expensive. We have very, very, very unique strategies that we can do there for you, to make sure that it doesn't matter if your kid is 1 or 2 years from going to college or you just had a baby and you want to start now. We can help you with that. So that's something that we want you to inquire with us about. We have some very unique strategies there that I can assure you that nobody else is doing. And then step 6 is implementing, right? And making adjustments. Life happens. So you want to start, and then every year we do an annual review. Okay, so we don't just push you off to a company. We're going to do that for you. Every year we get together. We want to build a long-term relationship with you, so you feel confident. We're dealing with something very important, your life savings. We know how important that is. So we want you to feel comfortable. So the reason I spent a lot of time on this slide, because this is the most important aspect of this video, is we want to offer you a 6-step financial plan. That's what I can do for you. And here's the kicker. And hear me out on this. It is 100% complimentary to you. We do this whole 6-step plan, and we don't charge you a single penny to do so. So if you're like me, I'll be like, come on, man, what's the catch here, right? Now you sound salesy. here's the whole purpose of this, right? Because we knew starting a company like this that people were not going to be dishing out $500 to $1,000 for a financial plan. So how can we go out there and build a business, make it a profitable business, and providing a valuable service to society that is in high demand but very low supply of people that can do it? Well, we started working with good companies. So the beauty of this slide is you see our logo here in the center. That's our logo here, right? Difference Financial and Insurance Services. We partnered up with some of those powerful retirement and insurance companies in the industry. And some of these companies have been around, like National Life Group, they've been around 170 years. Allianz, these are billion-dollar companies. But they don't go to middle America. And so what we decided to do is partner up with these companies, develop a marketing organization. We have our licenses, we're well trained, and translate what these services and these companies are trying to do to the masses so that people can digest this material and make sound decisions that are the best interests of them. And that's something that the industry hasn't been able to do successfully. So we kind of look at models that have been successful through innovation. For example, the number one transportation company in the world right now doesn't even own any transportation. That's Uber. They allow you to use your own car. The number one real estate company in the world doesn't own any actual real estate. That's Airbnb. And so we don't own any inventory. We don't have any overhead because we market the very most powerful companies in the world. We are bringing Wall Street to Main Street, providing first and foremost an education, and then allowing people to make choices that are best suited for them, whatever that means to you. So here's a question I have for you. Which of these 6 steps are giving you the most challenges that we can help you with? And I've yet to meet everyone that's like, I have all 6 steps down. If you already have an advisor, allow us to complement what you're already doing. Again, there's no obligation. We're not going to do business on a first appointment. We're not even going to ask. We want to give you customized information that is customized to you and your needs based on these 6 steps so that you can hit your financial goals. It doesn't matter where you're at. Okay, we're going to sit with you. We're going to be able to help you, whether we do it on a webinar or if you're here in Southern California, you can meet at one of our local offices and we can help you. Who we serve: individuals and families. Okay, from all walks of life. Doesn't matter if you just got out of college. Doesn't matter if you're, paycheck to paycheck right now and you're just trying to get ahead. You just got married, you're starting a family, right? You're middle age, you're late 40s, early 50s, and you're like, am I on track? You're a few years away from retirement and you built a little something. How can I make this stretch? Or you've been retired for 10 years. Is there something I could be doing better? Or you know what? I see that, my parents I have maybe 10 years left and I want to make sure that I'm do all my proper planning so that when I go, what I built gets transferred onto my families in the most efficient way possible without Uncle Sam putting his hands in my cookie jar. We can help you through all of that process. So if you fall into that individual or family, we're there for you. Business owner. I just read a stat, I don't remember where, but they say in the next few years, by 2021, that over 61% of Americans are moving into self-employment. So entrepreneurship is on a huge, huge rise right now because people are tired of the 9 to 5. They want control, they want ownership. And that's where people are at, right? There's people that make good money, but they have no time. And then there's people that have a lot of time and they have no money. So how do I get time and money together? Well, that's the whole purpose of being an entrepreneur and doing something that you're passionate about. With that being said, business owners are moving into entrepreneurial space and the whole game changes. When you go from employee to business owner, you're in a whole different tax scheme. Now you're paying taxes, right? Instead of getting a tax return. And a lot of people are not aware, or business owners are not aware of tax strategies that are best suited for them, that they're not taking advantage of. So if I can show you how to reduce your taxes without having to change your bottom line, put more money in your pocket, pay less to the government, and make sure that you have a great exit strategy for your business, would that be of value to you? And I hope the answer is yes. Give us a shot. Let us show you what we can do for you in that arena. It's pretty remarkable. Okay? And the last one there is school and public employees. We're very big with school teachers. Here in the San Diego area, we help out many schools here. We have many teachers that are clients of ours. We do 403Bs. We also do 457. So if you're a correction officer, firefighter, police officer, many different types of state government employees, we have very, very catered, customized plans for you through the 403B and 457 space. And they're just great strategies. So allow us to help you there or give us a second look. Our team has 100 years of combined experience. Like I said, I've been doing this 12 years. I have a great support staff around me, right? So if someone asks me a question that I don't know, because there's so much of this world, I know where to get the information from. We have a collective 100 years of experience through our company and our support team that we have here. So I just want to let you know you're in good hands. A few more things here is our products and services. So here's what we do. So you look at the retirement qualified and non-qualified plans. We do 401k rollovers. So if you have an old 401k or you're about to retire and maybe you want to move that 401k in a position where it won't lose any money, we can do that. Okay, put it inside of an IRA, an individual retirement account. We do 403Bs, as I just explained, 457s. We do IRAs. SEP IRAs are for business owners, self-employment pension IRAs. Simple IRAs also for business owners, Roth IRAs, index annuities, multi-year annuities, traditional fixed annuities, all different types of annuities, right? So people are like, well, what is an annuity? Annuity is a contract with a reputable insurance carrier, kind of like a CD at a bank in exchange for a period of income that you can get for 10 years, 20 years, or for life. It all depends on what the needs are of the person. So this is why we have so much on our menu there, because not one size fits everybody. I talked about life insurance. We do every type of life insurance, and we can meet any budget, whether you're someone that says, Carlo, I do need life insurance, but I only have 30, 40 bucks a month to put aside for it. We can probably help you with a plain vanilla term policy. You should at least have some coverage, right? If you have resources, like what could I do? Well, life insurance is kind of like cars. You can get your very basic trim. What's the basic model? Your basic Toyota Corolla, or you can go get a Maserati, right? And the Maserati type is for people that can afford that. There's a lot more bells and whistles that they never have to outlive, because if you're paying money into a policy, into one of these premium type policies that we have, if you don't die, you don't get sick, shouldn't you get your money back? And the answer is yes. So we can do that for you for those that are interested in a customized plan, and maybe you have resources to do that. So we're going to meet you where you're at, okay? No judgments. I talked about debt elimination strategies. So we do debt settlement, student loan forgiveness plans, right? So if you're struggling in the debt arena, we're going to meet you where you're at, and we're going to help you. Business solutions, qualified plans. If you're a business owner, we have some very unique funding strategies for your retirement. Okay, like for example, right there it says 412E3. That's a tax code, kind of like 401k. That's a larger to tax deductible type contribution where someone can deduct up to $350,000 a year on their taxes while simultaneously putting that money in a retirement plan. Right? Pretty cool, right? People say, I've never heard of anything like that. We can break that down for you. Non-qualified plans is you get lump sums of cash and you don't want to just sit in idle in a bank. Put it to work. We have some very unique plans. If you have employees and maybe a 401k plan is expensive for your company, there's very unique plans where you can be discriminatory and only give retirement plans to people of your choosing. Legally, you could do that. So we show you how to do things like that. Key employee insurance, non-qualified deferred compensation. So that means that you can defer money instead of paying taxes now, defer some of that cash, put it to work, and pay the taxes later. So tons of unique things that most people never heard about. And also buy-sell agreements, which is business continuation and transition. If you are 50-50 business owner with somebody and something happens to your business partner, right? Yeah, God forbid that. But what happens to your business if that person is a key element of your company? Is their spouse going to come in and take over? Right? So those are very much insurable needs that you want to protect. You can do that through term insurance at a very inexpensive cost, right? And you could also do it through a permanent plan. So we can break all that down for you. Again, these are all customized, complementary financial plans that we do for you to help you get to where you want to go. Okay, I'm going to show you one more just for sake of time. Is I told you I wanted to talk to you about taxes. And there's only 3 areas that you can put your money when it comes to taxes. So you can do taxable accounts. Taxable accounts are, if you're a W-2, your money's taxed, meaning the government gets your money before you do. Interest income on certain types of investments, like short-term investments, short-term stocks, short-term mutual funds. You're going to pay capital gains tax on that. Savings account, CDs, even though you don't make a lot of money, the government still taxes you with the 1099-I, which stands for interest, because they want you to pay on the capital gains on your money. So these are good for short-term types of investments because they're accessible, okay, but not good for long-term because it becomes a tax drag. You just end up paying more money to the government than you probably want to. Most people are in tax deferred. I will say 90% of retirement accounts in our country are in tax deferred plans. Most notable, the 401k, IRAs, 403b, 457s, pensions. What else we got there? TSPs if you're in the federal government, which is a federal version of a 401k. And basically you contribute to these plans from your paycheck, from your pre-tax contributions, but when you pull the money out at retirement, guess what you have to pay? Taxes. And people say, well, at what rate? At whatever income tax rates are then, and nobody knows. So there's a good chance you could be paying income tax on your money more than you should. We like tax advantages, right? So what are tax advantages? Is pay the taxes now, okay, through your paycheck, through your net income, because the government already taxed you, and then put that money in a tax advantage strategy like a Roth IRA. There's some limitations there, but it's possible. Or the cash accumulation inside of a life insurance contract. We're big on something called Index Universal Life, which is a life insurance policy where, depending on how you structure, there is no limit to what you can put in. It grows tax-free. It comes out 100% tax-free. It's tied to the market, so if the market goes up, you can make money. If the market crashes, you never lose any money. And when you pull that money out, it's 100% tax-free, and if we do it right, you're going to get a tax-free pension for the rest of your life. So we do all of this. Again, we're not saying this is better than the other. I do like tax-free, obviously, if we can get there, but sometimes you need tax breaks now. So again, everybody's needs are different. We're going to meet you where you're at. So with that being said, I know this was a long video, but I hope you got value. You may probably have some questions, and I just want you to know that I am here for you. My company is here for you. I recommend starting out with the phone call, okay? Just non-pressurized, just let's do a little phone interview. You probably have questions and concerns that are applicable just to you. Let me answer that. And then from there, we can determine if it makes sense to get together. Maybe we do a webinar like this over a Zoom, or if you're in the Southern California area, we can meet at one of our local offices. And again, our first visit is always going to be educational, share some ideas. Maybe we show you some of our services of before and after clients that we've helped. And then from there, if it makes sense, we'll get together again and we'll do proper recommendations to you. And again, this is all complimentary. It doesn't obligate you because I told you we get compensated by those companies that we're able to refer out to. But we are the ones that will still maintain touch with you, right? I still have clients from over a decade ago. So I just want you to know that. So I'm here for you. I hope you got value from this. And go ahead and click on the link below, put in your information, and I look forward to getting together with you soon. Have a good one.